All right. What's going on, bros? Good to see you and welcome to the Empire.
The second question that we have next up is what work or milestones still need to be completed before Alpha 2's launch? And this is from Judgment Dismal. A large
And we're
portion,
not even in beta
excuse
yet
me,
for
a
this
large
game.
portion of what we are doing, as you guys saw in Alpha 1, a lot of core systems were stood up. That's progression, that's AI behaviors, that's open world tech, that's distributed services, distributed servers, that's the ability to maintain persistence, to acquire and progress, combat stats and the skill trees, nodes leveling, collecting experience, all that stuff we saw as there was no NDA present for Alpha 1. So those are kind of core mechanics,
Oh, I
right?
was concerned
And
those
when we
weren't
think
in the
about
game yet.
how
It's
Alpha
like, bro,
2
that's
kind of
that's
steps
that's
up
a lot of
further, a
things.
lot of
But
that
so those
is
a lot of
putting
that's in
in
there.
content for those core mechanics, adding additional classes,
So
which
they've
of
got the
course
skeleton,
come with different
but they've
types
got
of
to
feature
make the
requirements
muscles.
on an ability system basis, adding content to the quest systems,
There's a fob on
including
720. We're gonna
events,
watch the video soon,
adding
and
aspects
you'll
of the
understand
naval systems,
what's happening.
the professions and gathering and artisanships. You know, a lot of that is what is being worked on currently towards Alpha 2's end. And of course, each time we have a monthly live stream, we show you guys progress in some of those systems, a large portion of which was our combat revamp. Which of course
This is like the
taken a lot of
third
player feedback as we
combat
go into
revamp.
iteration phases for that
They've
stuff.
iterated many,
But when
many
we talk
times, and
about
I'm sure they will
what
continue.
is outstanding work, milestones that are required
Did we
for
play Alpha 1?
2,
No. I do have a key. I
much
think
of
it's
it is
for
content.
either Alpha
Because
2 or
Ashes of
Beta
Creation
1.
intends to be a very rich content
I
game.
gotta
We've
look
always
again.
talked in the past about
But
how
I'm
we
down to
combine
play
the elements
beta.
of both the theme park
I
and
put
the
so much
sandbox
time
element
into
to
alpha
create
game,
decisions
you
that
know,
matter,
alphas
to open
before,
doors that have
where I stopped
actual
streaming
content
as much
behind
because it
them,
was under NDA.
as opposed to
Luckily, I
putting
don't
that
think Alpha
kind
2
of
will be under NDA, but
responsibility on
I feel like
player-driven mechanics
so
that
much
a lot of
changes from
sandbox-type
alpha to
games have
beta
utilized in the past.
that we
So
may
much
wait
of it
till
is
beta
content related.
to really delve
Number
in.
3. So the number 3 voted question: how many abilities will be made or are planned to be made for each archetype? And this is from Sanic Explosion. Well, first, it depends on the archetype. Some archetypes will have some more active abilities available or some less active abilities available than others. It also depends on combination of passives as well, and how that interchanges with the active skill sets and the acquisition of those skill points and
There's
distribution of
so
those skill
much.
points.
This,
That's
like, I can't even knowing all of the main classes because of the interactions of how the cleric will interact with the rogue or the cleric will interact with the warrior. I'll most likely, one of my archetypes, and I don't even know if it'll be my main one, will be cleric, right? Because it'll give me the option for passive AoE healing, some support skills and things like that. But I don't know what, and I do want to be a melee, right, style character. But what my archetype will be, and whether my main or my sub is cleric, will be based on the 64 different combinations of your character class, right? And maybe we take one over the other, despite me liking one, because of how it affects your passives, or because how you get a couple of different active abilities that just solidifies our play style. So, but the great thing about that is that everyone will be able to do that. We're going to have so many hybrid styles that it's going to be really, really interesting and kind of sometimes difficult to play against, because how will you know what you're fighting against? I mean, I think over time there will be more of a meta, but it's going to be the Wild West at the beginning.
important. But when we think about, on average, what is each archetype going to have from an ability standpoint, it's roughly going to be about 35 to 40. right? And of course, that doesn't mean that a player will have the opportunity to spec into all of those abilities. You're going to have a limited selection of skill points available in order to spec out your class. And that's going to be important because it
Where you
provides not only
combine classes.
agency
Yeah,
to the player.
he loved Arcage, and he one of the reasons why, like, what spurred him to want to make a game was he said, and this was years ago now, he was tired of being fed bad games, and he wanted a good game to play. And so now we're going to, so now we're on the journey. You're talking about, yeah, we're gonna watch that later, Step. Let's finish this, and then we're gonna watch the some of their PvP clips.
Player to kind of make those types of decisions, but it gives a diverse, excuse me, it gives a subset diversity within that archetype where decisions kind of choose specialization paths within the skill tree for that particular archetype. And we've talked about how
But
we don't want to have
all of these archetypes and things. To me, that's like nerd crack, right? All the different versions, and oh, you're this, and oh man, I really like that, but I chose this for this reason. And there's a lot of flavor in making your character,
what a lot of us have experienced in other MMORPGs, obsolete or not utilized abilities, right? So we kind of keep that selection relatively limited.
You'll have to update us on the
Next
situation.
question.
I don't know all of the things.
I'm not sure if it's a good thing that it's number 4 or
going
number 1.
on.
No,
But
I'm just kidding.
I saw that video
a simple
in
question.
in
How
team
are
chat.
you, Stephen? I'm doing great. I'm doing very good. We've had an awesome year this year, and we have some still fun activities and streams that are planned in October, November, and December. And I'm looking forward a lot to. I think this is our 5th year doing Extra Life, which is going to be next month. That's always a fun time. But more importantly, I think, what keeps my heart warm over these years, having, building games is difficult. Building an MMORPG is probably the most difficult type of game that you can build.
Honestly insane. The ROI, return on investment, for an MMO is negative 99% of the time. And the even your core population hates you. Like it is a bad decision to make an MMO. And that's why you see so many people going into the mobile games, right? Into the gacha games, into the loot boxes, because in the end, people are putting up money to make money. And that's one of the reasons why we don't see that great of MMOs. It's so many years of investment, world building, story building, balancing, and all of this, years and years. And most of the time, they don't make money. Or they don't last very long. They're not able to hold the population. And that's why the passion that they're putting into this, the effort into the details into this game, is why I have so much hope that this game will be good.
And our MMORPG is a particularly ambitious one. So there's a lot of work that goes into it. And, watching the team work hard at creating something that they want to bring to make you guys proud, to make me proud, to make each other proud. It takes a toll. It is a difficult job making games, and with that being said, we built an amazing team at Intrepid, and it feels very much like a family. So, getting up each day and going into the office and working with, the colleagues at Intrepid is a delight. And it's something that I've thoroughly enjoyed over these years. And also being able to interface with you guys in the community who are fellow MMORPG lovers. And
Now, I've heard from some people that whenever anyone, especially the head guys, refer to it like a family, that it's a bad thing. But I don't always think that it's true. You know, and I was chilling the other day. I think maybe I was talking to my dad like about it, and I was like, you know, to me, everyone is like a brother, you know, or a sister, right? Because I believe we're all one global family, right? And skin color is a very, very small percentage of our DNA. And so you are, in a sense, family, right? And you're not initially my enemy. My enemies choose to be my enemy, right? But before that, you're not, right? You're family, in a sense, and because the people will show their true colors on their own, and you don't have to seek them out. But it is the reason I even bring it up is if you think of the inside information that we got from the New World devs, and how because it was from Amazon and the corporate backstabbing and the people trying to climb the corporate ladder, and everything, the environment, the essence in the office is a very, very important thing. And I want to believe that it's true, that it's a very positive and enjoyable experience to be in the offices of Intrepid. And you'll see that over time in the development of the game. All right, how things are dealt with and stuff. And it's not something that you can throw money at, right? Sometimes actually money is the problem and causes a bad environment within the office. But so I do hope that that it is true that they have a very positive environment.
Enthusiasts.
Oh, also, talking about positive environment in the office, did you hear that Blizzard has another sexual harassment? Activision Blizzard has another sexual harassment lawsuit going on. Yep.
Who have confidence and faith in us to deliver a product that is going to answer the call that many of you have. That is a very exciting prospect, and it keeps me very motivated. So that's always great. I guess I'll touch on this a point real quick. Recently I've heard some discussion, from different parts of MMORPG genre and audiences about, why follow a development process? Why not wait until the product is complete and, try the product then and talk about it then? And I just want to stress that as consumers of this product, as consumers of this genre, as players of MMORPGs, many of us have felt that the genre has gone in a direction that doesn't represent what the player base wants. And one of the very important aspects of our development process is that by having this following of the development, this interaction, this opportunity to provide feedback, this opportunity to get a look under the hood and watch development over time and see things progress and communicate with the developers and give your thoughts and opinions and experiences, that's a very rare opportunity for the consumer.
Think about every game that comes out and the amount of communication that we have with the developers. Most games, you get the announcement trailer and you get the release date. And that's common, right? Maybe we get a couple of teasers and we're done. Rarely is there even a face, right? Maybe a dude that announces the game at a con, Just think about all the New World feedback, time well invested. Well, New World, again, I know we reference New World a lot, but they were also constantly lying to their player base, right? And that's where we go back to that corporate bullshit. But I will say that when the New World dev blogs and stuff, it does help kind of calm the masses, the pitchforks. A lot of people that were screaming the fucking world's on fire, right? And they bring out these thick posts and this dev blog, and it's kind of like, shh, calm down, it's okay, we're working on it. You know what I mean? So it did have positive effects. I know because I was screaming the world's on fire, right? And but then they'd come out with these things, and I was like, oh well, they're human, they're trying. You know what I mean? They're doing their best, and things like this. And then right after, my hair's on fire. So it's hard. The problem is it only lasts so long if you step out the front door and all you see is, death and ashes. But it is a rare thing, and it is a very, very cool thing in a world where we consume constantly, right? You guys are watching me watch something about a dude making a video about a thing that's not even out, so it gives us something to do, and we get to follow the development. It's like a lot of people watching some YouTubers that are young, and go to stardom. There's a lot of people were there since the beginning, and there's a feeling to that, right? There's a I don't want to use the word ownership, but you're connected to it, and when you're trying to create a legacy, and a very strong core player base. Like I said, WoW has a great core player base, and you're competing against that in a sense. They are slowly drumming up this core player base that is going to pull from World of Warcraft. That is going to pull from a bunch of people, a lot of people that suck at video games or don't even like MMOs. They're going to come play this game when it comes out because their friends were talking about it, right? Because their friend is playing it, because their friend is hyped about it, right? So I think it's only positive.
To dictate the course to a degree, to dictate the course of what
baby Jesus
a product provider
coming in
is
7
getting.
months. What a badass.
And it's a rare opportunity
bro?
because
Appreciate you, my man.
oftentimes
What's his bro? Gunny didn't seem very happy about the art. I was in his stream at like 3 a.m. because I saw him go live because you guys were under attack on Fjords, and I asked him, how'd you like the art? And it was a very short. He was watching you do it? He was watching? Oh, the little bastard. He should have said something. But I asked him in his stream, and it was like a short sentence. Oh, yeah, But I hope he knows it was just for fun,
These developments go for years without ever touching the consumer base from a feedback perspective. And the opportunity to provide iterative feedback during that process is lost. And when the product gets completed, there's not much you can do at that point other than hope to update in future expansions and correct and iterate in that regard. But as we know, a lot of products only have one chance at launching. Sometimes that's not the case. There are of course examples where that's not the case. But the opportunity to get involved early and during development is a very important consumer responsibility. And I think that demonstrating that as part of our development process has brought in a considerable amount of benefit to what Ashes of Creation hopes to be as a product. So I want to thank you guys for participating in that. Those of you who are watching, those of you who comment, those of you who interact with us on a monthly basis for our live streams. I know that it is something that takes a lot of patience to watch something you've dreamed about or that you have a strong desire to play.
And it takes so long.
And it is something
People
that's
don't
difficult,
realize
but we
it
really
takes
appreciate it
so
at the
long
studio.
to make just a shit game.
All right, number